hold their natural on this map just because there's just such a wide area to defend as you can't really effectively use force fields. Not to mention you can never know if you have some Zerglings streaming in from behind the bushes to do some damage on your expansion. It's really tough to defend for both players.
Caboose asking his opponent if it's okay if he pro rushes. Not actually doing it though, unfortunately. I'd kind of like to see that.
It would certainly be entertaining. Probe's an excellent early game force simply because their shields do recharge. They can go in, kill off a few SCVs, and attempt to get the hell out before getting surrounded. Wait for their shields to recharge and go down.
Yeah. That being said though, I am glad he's playing a standard game as we have so few Protoss players signed up tonight. We have to make the most of them. But who knows, now that Chompy has graciously stepped down, we are in a brave new world. Caboose could be our new king of the hill. Or will it be Timon?
Now, Timon opting not to begin a wall-off with his first supply depot, that can sometimes be a bit of a risky move on smaller maps, just because most of the time it's safe, but if Protoss does opt for really early 2-gate aggression and Chrono boost out the first couple Zealots, those first couple Zealots can really wreak havoc on your mineral line if you're not prepared.
Or even some later Zealots. I know there's a build I've been working on that gets 8 Zealots right around the 7-minute mark with a proxy, and it's just really hard to stop if you've been macroing up and don't have a wall in.
Timon sending out his scouting SCV, wisely checking behind the bushes at his natural for any proxy buildings. Now there are of course a lot of places a Protoss player can proxy buildings. They can stick it by one of the side expansions, put a Stargate there, maybe a couple of gateways behind the gold expansion. But, I mean, one of the most common areas is behind the bush, so you might as well scout it since you're not really losing much there anyways. Caboose going 1 gate core, choosing to skip that first Zealot to get the Cyber Core out quite a bit quicker. Also, pretty early double gas, so to see some pretty quick tech from him.
And Timon getting a reactor and a second barracks alongside orbital command. Maybe seeing some heavy marine play from him.
Now when we see a reactor on that first barracks and we see the SCV staying on gas, usually that means we're going to see a pretty heavy early push, either 2 or 3 racks. I know a lot of Terran players do like doing this push because it's pretty easy to execute and it can do a lot of damage.
Yep, Warp Gate research coming down as usual. Second gate from our Protoss player and just 1 Zealot. Not sure if that's a tight wall off or not. It looks like there is some room to get through there. Not generally an issue against Terran though.
Something really interesting going on right now. Caboose is actually saving up a good chunk of Chrono Boost. He was just at 75 energy with 1 on the gateway. So I'm wondering if maybe his macro was slipping or that was intentional. And I think maybe he was just making a little mistake because now he is using that Chrono Boost up on the gateway.
Yeah, we have concussive shells being researched for our Terran. Might be the first time tonight we've seen it since we've had Chompy a Zerg playing all night. Not that great against Zerg, but against Protoss, a very strong upgrade.
Bit of witty banter from our players. Caboose wondering if Timon is rushing him, and Timon being intentionally vague in that respect.
Yes. The 1 reactor, 1 tech lab barracks, a strong push, but not as all-in, I suppose, as the 3 barracks. You can still expend after it.
And Caboose putting down a robotics facility.
Amassing a pretty sizable force here. Unfortunately, he actually supply blocked himself there for a while, which is gonna reduce the numbers of this force by about 1 full production cycle, so that actually will come to effect.
And Caboose also supply blocked. That's going to hurt him quite a bit.
Nope. Caboose did see that second barracks going down, so he knows aggression is on the way, and wisely he's situating his units. Has those sentries, 2 sentries ready with a good amount of energy, so he should be able to force field his ramp long enough to get whatever units he needs out. Wisely Chrono boosting out that Observer, but what he really needs now is the Immortal, because we have a big force from Timon coming to the front door. It's going to be up to Caboose to get good force fields down quick enough. Does he have the reactions that he needs? Timon getting ready to move forward, poking forward with his first SCV. He wants to know what he's up against. Now Caboose has to react so quickly or this force could do terrible, dare I say, terrible, terrible damage. Actually using the scan, and there we go, moving forward, Caboose moving forward his units, as sentries in place, and one force field goes down, it's going to hold off Timon.
Not quite in the right spot for that force field. If those Marines able to get some extra damage in on the warp gate, though they didn't bring it under shield damage.
A bit lower down, but it was enough to hold off the forces. And now Caboose is getting an Immortal out, and that Immortal should be able to handle these forces pretty handedly.
Caboose also getting his Observer into Timon's base. Timon has no detection aside from scan right now, so he's going to see this command center going up, and the fact that all he's got is these two barracks and this factory going up right now.
You know, I was actually keeping an eye on Caboose's vision when that Observer went into the base, and I don't think he saw that command center before it floated out. He is moving his Observer into position, so he'll see it now, and seeing that expansion, he knows it's up to him to get out of his base, break this contain, and get his own expansion up as fast as possible.
Yeah, Timon.
He does have an Immortal ready. Not going anymore with it yet, though.
About to have his second one out.
Second Immortal to come out, and then he's going to push out. He's really kind of close here. He can't wait any longer.
Yep, Timon has no real need to attack here. He can just sit out here and contain his opponent, go 2 bases to 1, but it's coming out now. Oh, moving back, putting the sentries in the front, not a good idea. Stimming, Terran has to engage now with those stims. Moving up to the high ground, gonna take out those Immortals. One goes down.
These Immortals are not good against these Marines.
He does get their Immortal back, and the force field did cut the army in 2.
This is not looking good for Caboose. He is kind of missing that window where he has a higher income than the Terran player and should be able to poke out. But now the
Too suicidal.
is just going to pull ahead, and there's really not too much Caboose can do.
Yeah. Terran is pulling back though with his army, so the contain is now gone. Protoss expanding here.
Timon actually a little bit scared, throwing down 2 bunkers that is a natural. I don't really think that's the right move, because, I mean, should Protoss choose to push out, he would push war forward, he would see those bunkers, and he would say, okay, I'll either pull back or I'll just go around to the left side to the bush where the bunkers can't defend.
And Caboose does have an army advantage right now. It's slight, but it's there. And especially with the Immortal against the number of Marauders that Timon has.
I'm actually not seeing that army advantage. I see both players equal on food and equal on harvesters.
Oh, I thought, that's interesting. I thought Timon had a harvester advantage. Apparently not.
I think Timon's macro just kind of slipped up quite a bit while he was handling that contain. We do see him accumulating quite a bit of minerals, and his harvester count probably fell a little bit. Because if his harvester, if his macro had really kept up, he should be way ahead in harvesters.
Floating around with this factory now. Has 2 medevacs on the way.
Now, the floating factory is always a bit of an interesting move. You can use it, and it is a very good scout. The problem is, when you see that factory floating as an opponent, you say, oh, okay, now I know for sure that the Terran player is going hard bio, MMM, and maybe some ghosts.
And we do see medevacs coming out for Timon.
First Colossi being chrono boosted out, and the extended thermal lance upgrade on the way.
Excellent choice for Caboose. Those are both extremely effective against Terran bio.
Really, when you see a Terran bio, you have 2 choices. You either get your Colossi out or you get your Templar out.
And frankly, not many people get High Templar anymore, so it's mostly just Colossi. Unfortunately, I'd love to see Templar.
Oh, I mean, Templar is so difficult to deal with, and there's so much fun also if you're using Templar and you pick an area and you say, alright, everything there, you die. Yes.
The only reason it seems to be less popular is you do have that weak zone before you get your Psystorm research finished, and a lot of players can't exploit that. We do have a second Robo-Bay coming out though, so very heavy Colossi production going to be coming up. Terran moving out though.
And with High Templar, you can't run into the other problem with the Khaydarin Amulet, needing to charge up unless you have both Psystorm and the Amulet upgrade. You can run into trouble. They're just not effective for quite a bit of time.
Gonna see some great play coming out from Timon. He's got a really significant army advantage now, more than 20 foot ahead, and a harvester advantage also. He's throwing down his third command centers, and he's already cleared out the rocks for that gold expansion, so he's gonna push forward with his attack to make it safe for that expansion to go down. He does see,
And
sees that got a big
Caboose has two Colossi in play.
Colossi on the high ground. Yep. He does have a Ghost Academy on the way, though, and a few Vikings just got started.
Now, Caboose might have a food advantage, but unfortunately, Caboose's army just counters Timon so easily. Until he has those Vikings out, he's really not going to be able to handle his Colossi.
And Caboose putting up a Twilight Council. He might be getting either Blink or trying to go into a Templar build. Right now, these Colossi with the Immortals are going to be doing quite a bit against this Marauder-heavy bio-army.
Both players expecting their
Twilight Council. The charge and Colossi just works so well against Bile because the charge, the Zealots just act as a really nice meat shield to keep the Marauders away from the Colossi, and then all you have to worry about are Vikings.
Yes. Both players
true,
taking their third base. Terran gonna have his up a little bit sooner. Go ahead, Gramothy.
That is true, but Timon
is a pro advantage.
With Timon's Marauder advantage, and that I haven't seen any Zealots really from Caboose, makes me think he's going to be going
Blink, which he is.
Interesting choice from Caboose. Usually you don't see that much late game blink play from Protoss. You can use it to help handle any air units, because you can chase down Banshees and things like that with the Stalkers, and you also might get it early to try and move into the opponent's base. But at this point in the game, I would think that charge would be more effective than Blink.
Well, with Blink you can provide a sort of portable wall off, just Blink right in front of the enemy forces, especially against Bio. You can then use it to pick off the Medivacs while the Colossi do the actual damage against the Bio units. But it's a little more micro-intensive, and it requires a little bit of precision that you usually can't pull off as easily.
Having Blink also opens up the capability of Blink micro.
We have an engagement here at the Planetary Fortress.
Sometimes our Fortress is in place, he's got to focus hard on the bosses with his Vikings. He's moving forward with all his fires, he's going to take things. He's so annoying. And a little bit of a miss by the Red Goose. This Colossus is so capable, and Timon was able to clean out those Protoss armies so easily. He's got so many units left over, he's going to be able to take out the gold expansion, and probably the natural as well.
Stim just so effective against Protoss mech.
Yeah.
Units here, Caboose really just doesn't have any place to handle. He's got one Colossi on the field, throwing down a couple of gateways because his macro did slip. Second one could have a little bit slow, but I think this one comes before the facility goes down. Caboose could try and cancel this to center scenarios, but really what he needs now is just units. He needs some units in this game. He's going to macro up the force right now, delay this army with some sentries, and then just try and push out with one last gasp. Oh, he's able to snipe that Colossus.